I'll deal quickly with item number 5 because I don't think there's... Oh, no. Well, we'll go straight to item number 6. Yeah, thank you. I keep thinking they're the same community board, but they're not. Yeah.
Morena.
Morena.
As you can see, this is a complex and quite an emotive issue, which the board has been struggling a bit with. Councillors, now that you have heard 2 positions, I'm on record as having said that I have some concerns about the process, and I'm just wondering whether that would be shared by councillors. You would think about having another look at that, because this report does not accurately describe the process that has happened in full. I stand by the board's recommendation because I think it is the right decision in this case, but as I've said, I'm a little uncomfortable about the process by which we arrived at it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel exactly the same way, having listened to both and respecting the position of both. I think it is extremely complex, and the emotion is clear on both sides, you know, so I don't believe that that these matters can necessarily be best resolved by adopting a legal position. But I'm also very mindful of the fact, as the Mayor of Christchurch, that we have legal obligations that we have to take into account when we are making decisions. So I would really like to let this matter lie on the table to enable some further discussions to take place, but at the same time for some further advice to be prepared on us, for us. I also believe that, as you have identified, the report that we have in front of us to make a decision on doesn't actually accurately reflect the process that we've had described to us by both sides. The history of the ownership, you know, on both sides, and the history of what the implications are in terms of paying rates and any other matters that have been addressed. So, you know, it seems to me that we are not in a position to make a decision on this. The report itself is inadequate for a decision to be made today. I know that that's probably little comfort to people who are seeking the council to make a decision, but we also have legal obligations, but also broader than legal obligations, I think representative obligations to the people of Christchurch, that we ensure that good processes are followed, and I'm not satisfied that we have followed a good process in this regard. So if people are comfortable with this, I don't know, do we need an actual resolution to do this? Well, I will move that the item lie on the table to enable further discussions and to seek further advice. Is there a seconder for that? Tim? Yanni?
I just wanted to check with Paula, with the chair of the community board. I know this council had planned and probably still does to go and meet at the marae with the local runaka. So just wondering whether that would be something that would be useful as part of this process. There seem to be a number of other issues that were raised, things like the funding for the wider landscape plan, things like the subdivision in terms of the number of houses and the roading access. There was reference made to an MOU, which I don't see in this report. So do you think it would be useful for us as a council to re-emphasise that commitment and re-establish that desire to go and meet with the local runaka at their marae as we had previously?
Could we deal with that as a separate issue? Because I don't want to get that tied up with this particular one issue. So I don't mind if you deal with this separately, but I'd like to deal with this matter individually.
Right.
Because this is not dependent on that process.
Okay, I guess.
It is completely separate. So could I just please, Yanni, deal with this separately?
Well, I'm fine for that, but the reason I was raising that is
I know
because
why
the
you were
MOU
raising it.
No,
Could
no,
you
no.
please?
Sorry, can I just explain?
Could you please? No, I don't want to rule you out of order, but could I please deal with this matter on its own?
It is this matter. We heard from the deputation reference to an MOU, which none of us have any information.
Yanni, we have asked that the matter lie on the table to enable further discussions and to seek further advice. We don't need to have a discussion about what that advice will contain. Ali.
Thanks, Leanne. And I know Pauline's got a question related to this as well, but I'm just looking at the map. This is for clarification, so it might be a staff issue. Would you want to do that later as well?
I'd rather
That's
that
fine,
the
okay.
issues are offline so
Yeah,
that we can get all of the matters that we wish to seek further advice on dealt with away from this occasion. So if people are comfortable with that, I will put that motion. I beg your pardon? There is nothing to debate. It's a procedural motion. And I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Would you like to continue with your report?
Yes. There's just one other thing I'd like to highlight. It's item 11.7, a matter about the Norman Kirk pool raised under elected members' information exchange, and I'd just like to report that we had a really good meeting with John Fulsell, where we talked about how local people could be involved in the running of the pool. He's of the position that he would really like to employ some local people part-time and train them up to support the running of the pool, and we've got a sort of way forward to look at how that would happen. And then the conversation then turned to the future management of the Lyttelton Recreation Centre, and he was very open to the possibility of perhaps setting up a management committee or in some way having a council community partnership for the future running of that when it opens up. And that's all fantastic news as far as we're concerned.
Excellent. Yes, sure.
People be volunteers? Was there any?
His view was that it would be better to employ them and have a straightforward, relationship that way. And we're reasonably optimistic we'll be able to find some people in our community who would be keen to do that.
Trained as lifeguards?
Yeah, as lifeguards. Right. And apparently the pool, with that pool, you have to be able to do everything, like manage the chemicals and take the money and everything. So there's a bit of training involved.
Yeah, great.
But
that's good news.
Yeah.
Vicky.
Does that enable you to open the Norman Kirk pool longer?
It may do.
Right, cool.
Was where we're coming from. Yeah.
Good.
Excellent. All right, would someone like to move that the report be received?
I will.
Yep, Phil.
I'd also like opportunity for Paul to respond to Councillor Yanni Hansen's request about, like it just seems to me in terms of the whole report, that it would be sensitive and sensible for us to make a visit to the local marae. And Councillor Johansson raised that question, and I think it would be helpful to have a reply.
I'm happy to respond in general terms. I think whenever you've got a report that is about a particular place, it's really useful to visit that place if ever you can. And secondly, you're always welcome to come to our ward, and we hoped after the election that you would come and do a tour, but it never happened, so please do.
We will.
Yeah.
All right, so would someone like to second that the report be received? David, I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much. So can we go back to the Akaroa Wairewa